Have you ever felt like you were meant for something bigger, something far beyond the ordinary? As though your heart is driven by a force you can't fully understand, a longing to fulfill a purpose that seems destined but comes at an unexpected cost. If you've ever questioned why life feels like an ongoing battle, filled with pain, confusion, and misunderstandings, then you're not alone. Today, we're about to uncover a powerful truth, that the very struggles and suffering you've endured are not only part of your journey, but are the very reasons why you were chosen in the first place. For those of you who feel like outsiders in your own life, who have experienced deep emotional turmoil, and have faced rejection or isolation, this message is for you. You are the chosen ones. You are the individuals who have been marked by fate or divine will to fulfill a purpose that transcends the everyday, the mundane. Your path may have been riddled with hardships, and the weight of your soul's mission may sometimes feel overwhelming. Yet it's this very mission that makes your existence deeply meaningful. The truth is, the chosen ones don't suffer by accident. They suffer because their purpose requires it. It's this paradox of light and darkness, struggle and breakthrough, that shapes the destiny of those who are here to help the world evolve. In this journey, suffering becomes not just a part of your story, but a necessary chapter that propels you towards spiritual evolution and the fulfillment of your sacred purpose. If you've ever felt the weight of a mission too large for your own comprehension, know that you are walking the path that others cannot yet understand, but one that the world so desperately needs. The spiritual foundation of the chosen ones. So, what does it mean to be chosen? To be someone who stands apart from the crowd, whose very essence seems to vibrate with a different frequency? This is a question that many chosen ones ask themselves throughout their lives, particularly when the weight of their purpose feels too heavy to bear. The truth is, being chosen doesn't mean being superior to others. It means being given a responsibility so profound that it can only be understood by those who walk the path. The chosen ones are not characters in a distant myth or fantasy. They are real, flesh and blood, individuals who have been called by a higher power or divine force to participate in the evolution of the planet. Their purpose is deeply interconnected with the spiritual ascent of humanity, whether it's through healing, guiding, protecting, or awakening the collective consciousness. It's not just about their personal journey, it's about their mission to help raise the frequency of the planet and uplift the souls around them. But what does this mean in practical terms? It means that the chosen ones often feel like they don't quite belong, like they're walking on a different wavelength compared to others. They experience deep empathy, understanding, and a sense of responsibility that can sometimes feel like a heavy burden. It's as if they are born with a map of the world, a roadmap to something greater, and yet they can't always see the destination clearly. This often leads to a feeling of alienation, a sense of being misunderstood, and even a deep loneliness. But here's the important part. This feeling of otherness is part of their divine design. The spiritual foundation of the chosen ones is not one of isolation, but of connection. Their perceived distance from others is actually a reflection of their deep connection to something much larger than themselves, the divine will that has chosen them for this mission. They are the conduits for higher energy, the messengers of divine wisdom, and the healers of a fractured world. For many chosen ones, this begins at a young age. Perhaps you felt different as a child, constantly searching for answers, unable to relate to your peers in the way they related to each other. Maybe you've always had this inexplicable sense of knowing, this pull toward helping others or understanding the deeper mysteries of life. These are signs that you are aligned with your true spiritual foundation, that your soul has been chosen for something greater. And while the path may be unclear at times, the one thing that remains constant is the underlying purpose, to help the world evolve. The chosen ones are born with this mission embedded in their very being, a mission that will unfold slowly, often revealing itself only when the time is right. The price of being chosen, the sacrifice. Being chosen is not a glamorous experience, and it's certainly not an easy one. Many times, the chosen ones are faced with challenges and sacrifices that others simply cannot comprehend. But here's the twist. These sacrifices aren't punishments. They are a critical part of the divine process that prepares them for their mission. The price of being chosen is steep, and it's a price that often includes suffering, isolation, and an ever-present sense of loss. To fully understand the sacrifice of being chosen, it's essential to recognize the process of incarnation. The chosen ones don't just exist in this world by accident. They intentionally chose to come here, to incarnate into a dense, physical body, knowing that the very act of entering Earth's lower vibrational state would require them to give up part of their divine nature. This process of spiritual descent is not an easy one. It's an act of deep courage. It's a conscious decision to slow down their vibratory rate and enter a physical form that is limited, subject to the challenges of the material world. In the higher realms, the chosen ones exist as pure energy, expansive and free. But to walk among humans, to fulfill their earthly mission, they must lower their vibrational frequency, entering a state of limitation and suffering. It's like stepping into a fog, where their true nature is obscured, and they must navigate the human experience without the full range of their spiritual abilities. This, in itself, is a sacrifice that, while necessary, often comes at great personal cost. Once incarnated, the chosen ones must face the realities of Earth's harshness. They experience pain, loss, confusion, and the weight of their divine mission, which can feel like an ever-present burden. This pain is not random. It is a reminder of their true nature, of the expansive soul they once were, and the mission they are here to fulfill. The dissonance between their higher vibrational essence and the dense physical form can cause deep emotional and spiritual pain. It's this very pain, however, that allows them to connect with others, to understand suffering, and to offer healing and guidance in ways that others cannot. Yet even in the midst of this sacrifice, the chosen ones know that it is all for a greater purpose. The pain they endure is not pointless. It serves to deepen their empathy, to awaken their ability to heal and guide others through their own suffering. Every moment of loneliness, every instance of rejection, is part of a process that leads to spiritual growth, both for the individual and for the collective. The chosen ones carry this profound understanding that their sacrifice is not in vain. It is part of a much larger plan that is unfolding slowly over time. In this sacrifice, the chosen ones learn to walk the path of paradox. They are beings of light, and yet they must endure the shadows. They possess deep wisdom, but they often struggle with the human condition. Their journey is one of constant transformation, marked by cycles of death and rebirth, not in physical terms, but in the shedding and regaining of their higher awareness. This cycle is what shapes them into the healers, guides, and leaders they are meant to become. The price of being chosen is steep, yes, but it is also a testament to the strength, courage, and resilience of those who walk this path. The sacrifices are not signs of weakness, but of a deep commitment to a mission that transcends the self, a mission that is ultimately about uplifting humanity and guiding others toward their own spiritual awakening. Every moment of pain, every trial endured, is a step closer to the ultimate goal, the elevation of consciousness, both personal and collective. In the end, the sacrifice of the chosen ones is a reminder of the profound power of love, empathy, and resilience. It is through their struggles that they awaken to their true purpose, and it is through their journey that the world, slowly but surely, begins to heal. The journey of the chosen ones, empathy and pain as tools for growth. You might have felt it, the weight of your own journey, the inner battles, the emotions you can't quite put into words. You're not alone. For those who feel like they've been chosen for something greater, this journey isn't just about success or achievement. It's about growth through pain. Imagine walking through life with the knowledge that your soul chose this path, that the struggles you face are not accidents, but vital lessons that lead you toward a higher purpose. It's not always easy to grasp, but for those who are the chosen ones, every challenge, every moment of heartache, every period of confusion is a stepping stone towards something greater. For a long time, I didn't understand why I had to go through the things I did, I felt as though I was fighting a battle no one could see, carrying a burden that no one else could understand. But in hindsight, I see clearly now that it was all part of a grand design. The struggles were meant to shape me, to push me into a space of deeper empathy and understanding. It's through this pain that I've been able to connect with others, to share in their suffering and offer support in ways I never could have without experiencing my own battles. The chosen ones are not exempt from pain. We are often its most intimate companions. But through this suffering, we become the healers, the guides, the ones who can hold space for others in their darkest moments. I remember a time when I felt completely lost, unable to find my place in a world that seemed too harsh, too indifferent. I felt disconnected from everyone around me, like I was living in a different reality. I questioned why I had to endure so much. Why me? But it was in the depths of my confusion that I began to understand the truth. Our pain is not pointless. It is transformative. And this transformation is what enables us to step into the role we were born to play. As chosen ones, we are here not just to guide others to the light, but to show them that the darkness is also part of the journey. It's through our own struggles that we learn to embrace the fullness of the human experience, to understand suffering and to grow from it. We don't run from our pain. Instead, we allow it to shape us, to refine us, and ultimately to expand our capacity for empathy. Each time we rise from the ashes of our personal battles, we become stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the needs of those around us. We may not always see the immediate impact of our efforts, but trust that every moment of healing we offer, every bit of love we extend, ripples out into the world in ways we can't always measure. Pain is not the enemy, it is the teacher. It is the tool that helps us grow, not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of everyone we touch. The more we learn to embrace our struggles, the more we become the embodiment of the very wisdom we are meant to share with the world. Through empathy and pain, we come to understand the true meaning of our mission. We are here to awaken, to heal, and to lead others through their own darkness, just as we've navigated our own. Earthly duality and the spiritual evolution of the chosen ones. Have you ever felt torn between two worlds, one that is physical, full of tangible experiences, and another that is spiritual, full of energy and unseen forces? This is the essence of duality, and for the chosen ones, it's a constant theme. We live in both worlds at once, feeling the weight of our earthly existence while also carrying the awareness of something far greater. The concept of duality is fundamental to our existence. Without darkness, we cannot appreciate light. Without sorrow, we cannot understand joy. It's in this contrast that the chosen ones find their spiritual evolution. We are beings of light, but we are also deeply embedded in the shadows. And it's in this tension between the two that our true growth happens. I recall a time in my life when everything seemed to fall apart. I was faced with heartbreak, loss, and a deep sense of confusion. The world around me felt cold, indifferent, and full of struggle. I was in a dark place, unsure if I could find my way out. But then something shifted. I realized that this darkness was not a curse, but a necessary part of my journey. Without this period of suffering, I would never have been able to appreciate the moments of clarity and peace that followed. It was through the contrast of light and dark that I learned to embrace the full spectrum of human experience. As chosen ones, we are called to embrace this duality. It's not about rejecting the darkness, but about finding balance within it. The more we can navigate the ups and downs of life, the more we integrate both the light and the dark into our being. We learn to walk the fine line between the physical and the spiritual, between the pain of the human condition and the transcendence of our true nature. It's a delicate dance, but it's this dance that allows us to evolve spiritually. We are here to experience it all, the joy, the sorrow, the triumphs, the failures, because each of these experiences contributes to our soul's growth. For the chosen ones, this duality is not a burden, it is a gift. It is through embracing both sides of existence that we can truly awaken to our higher purpose. Every moment of contrast brings us closer to the realization of who we truly are. And in that realization, we step into the role we were born to play, to guide others through their own struggles, to help them navigate the complexities of life, and to show them that both the light and the dark are necessary for spiritual evolution. The chosen ones are not immune to the pain of life. We are not exempt from the challenges that come with being human. But it is through these challenges that we grow. It is through the duality of our existence that we become the beings we are meant to be. And as we evolve, we help to elevate the consciousness of the world around us, one step at a time. Misunderstandings and challenges, the struggle with society's perception. If you've ever felt misunderstood, like the world doesn't see you for who you truly are, you're not alone. The chosen ones often find themselves at odds with societal expectations and perceptions. Society has a way of labeling people based on what they can see and understand, but the truth is, there is so much more beneath the surface. As someone who has walked this path, I can tell you that the struggle with society's perception is real. I remember a time when I tried to explain my mission to others. I tried to share my sense of purpose, the deep knowing I had about my role in this world. But all I got in return were blank stares, skepticism, and even judgment. People couldn't understand why I felt so compelled to follow a path that seemed so different from the norm. Why would anyone choose a life of struggle and uncertainty? Why not just fit in, live a normal life? At times, the weight of their judgment was suffocating. It was hard not to internalize the misconceptions, to not feel like I was doing something wrong. But here's the truth. The chosen ones are not meant to fit in. We are not meant to conform to society's expectations because our purpose lies beyond the limitations of conventional thinking. Society often sees us as odd, eccentric, or even self-important. But the reality is that our journey is not about ego or self-promotion. It's about fulfilling a higher mission, one that requires us to walk a different path. Unfortunately, society doesn't always recognize this. In a world that values material success and outward appearances, the spiritual journey of the chosen ones is often misunderstood. We may be seen as strange, or worse, as people who are disconnected from reality. But the truth is, we are deeply connected to the most important reality there is, the spiritual evolution of the world. This misunderstanding is a challenge we must face. We must navigate the judgments, the misperceptions, and the isolation that often come with being on a different path. But it's through this very struggle that we prove our commitment to our mission. We don't need the approval of others because our purpose is clear. We are here to serve, to guide, and to heal. We don't need society to understand us in order to fulfill our mission. In fact, the more misunderstood we are, the more aligned we become with our true path. The chosen ones are often misunderstood because our journey doesn't fit into society's mold. But it is this very journey that gives us the strength, wisdom, and compassion to help others see beyond the surface, to recognize their own potential, and to awaken to the truth of who they are. The struggle with society's perception is part of the process, a challenge that ultimately leads to deeper authenticity and greater spiritual fulfillment. And in the end, it is not society's approval that matters, but the fulfillment of our mission and the impact we have on the world. The awakening process, a journey of transformation. There's a moment in every chosen one's life when the ordinary, predictable path of existence crumbles beneath them, and they are forced to face something bigger, something they can't ignore any longer. It's a deep, unsettling feeling that something has to change. The universe is calling you to awaken, but it doesn't always feel like a gift. In fact, at first, it can feel like a curse. I remember when my awakening process began, it wasn't something I asked for. It wasn't a smooth, easy transition. No, it was a turbulent storm that turned my entire world upside down. I had always known there was something different about me, a sense of not quite fitting in, an unexplainable longing for something beyond what the world had to offer. But when the true awakening began, it wasn't gentle. It was as if every belief I had ever held about myself, about the world, was ripped apart. I went through intense periods of confusion, self-doubt, and pain. I questioned everything, my purpose, my identity, my very reason for being. The spiritual awakening process is not about a peaceful epiphany. It's about shaking the very core of your existence to make room for something new, something far greater. It's the stripping away of everything you thought you knew to reveal the raw truth of who you are. In the beginning, it felt like a loss of the life I thought I had, a loss of security, and a loss of certainty. I found myself questioning why I had to go through this, why me, why now? But slowly, I began to see the deeper picture. This chaos, this confusion was the catalyst for my transformation. It was breaking me open so that I could evolve. The awakening process doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, deliberate unfolding. You don't get to skip the uncomfortable parts. You're forced to confront your own shadows, your fears, and your unresolved wounds. The journey is full of ups and downs. One day you feel like you've got it all figured out. The next, you're back at square one, struggling to understand why things seem so uncertain. But over time, you start to see the threads connecting everything, the pain, the struggles, the confusion. They were never obstacles. They were the very tools needed to awaken your soul to its purpose. This is what the chosen ones go through. It's not an easy path. We don't awaken without challenges. But it's through these challenges that we grow, that we find the clarity, strength, and wisdom needed to fulfill our divine purpose. The awakening is not just about discovering who you are, it's about discovering who you're meant to become. And in the process, you're called to not only heal yourself, but to help heal the world. This is the journey. It's messy, it's painful, but it's also beautiful, because at the end of it, you will have found something you've been searching for all along, your true self. So, if you're in the middle of your awakening process and everything seems overwhelming, remember this: it's all part of the journey. You're not meant to have all the answers right now. Keep going. You're being transformed, step by step, into the person you were always meant to be. Trust that this process, as difficult as it may seem, is leading you to a higher level of awareness, understanding, and purpose. Keep walking. The light is closer than you think. Embracing the power of inner practices. When I first started this spiritual journey, I was overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information out there. Meditation, chakra balancing, energy cleansing, it all felt like a blur. I didn't know where to begin, but I felt an undeniable pull towards something greater. As I continued to grow, I realized that the key to navigating the complexity of life as a chosen one wasn't in the external world, but in developing a strong inner practice. The power to navigate this path lies within us, and the more we learn to tap into that inner power, the more we can fully embrace our purpose. At first, I was skeptical. Could something as simple as meditation really help me find the peace and clarity I was desperately seeking? But when I finally committed to the practice, everything began to shift. It wasn't instant. Nothing truly transformative is. But over time, I began to experience moments of deep peace and clarity that I hadn't thought possible. Meditation became my anchor. It wasn't just about sitting in silence for a few minutes. It was about quieting the chaos in my mind and connecting to something greater than myself. Through meditation, I learned to tune into my inner wisdom, to hear the subtle messages of my soul, and to reconnect with the higher vibrations of the universe. But meditation wasn't the only practice that helped me. I also discovered the power of energy cleansing. As chosen ones, we are constantly navigating through the dense energy of the physical world. We often encounter negative energies that can leave us feeling drained or disconnected. Learning to cleanse my energy became essential, whether through simple rituals or visualization techniques. Clearing out stagnant energy helped me stay balanced and aligned with my true purpose. It also taught me how to protect myself from negative influences, allowing me to remain a clear channel for divine energy. Alongside these practices, I began to embrace mindfulness in my daily life. The more I learned to stay present, the more I could see the divine guidance in even the most mundane moments. I began to see the interconnectedness of all things and how every moment offered a lesson. This wasn't about escaping the world, but rather engaging with it from a higher perspective. Inner practices, such as meditation, energy cleansing, and mindfulness, are tools that help us stay grounded in our higher selves while navigating the challenges of the physical world. These practices are not just for personal growth. They are essential for fulfilling the mission of the chosen ones. They allow us to connect with our inner truth and our higher purpose, so we can show up as the leaders, healers, and guides we are meant to be. The journey can be overwhelming, but when we make time to nourish our souls through inner practices, we find that the path becomes clearer. If you're feeling lost, uncertain, or disconnected, start with these simple practices. Trust me, they will guide you back to your center. They will help you reclaim your power and realign with your true mission. Don't underestimate the power of your inner world. It holds the key to everything you've been seeking. The chosen one's role in elevating humanity. As a chosen one, there's a deep, quiet knowing within you that you are here for something greater. You don't quite fit in with the ordinary flow of life, and often the weight of your mission can feel overwhelming. You've been through struggles, faced moments of deep pain, and have had to wrestle with confusion and doubt. But as you awaken to your true purpose, you realize that all of these experiences were not in vain. They were preparing you for your mission to help elevate humanity. The world is in desperate need of transformation. People are lost, confused, and in pain. The collective consciousness of humanity is still trapped in lower vibrations of fear, anger, and separation. This is where the chosen ones come in. We are the light workers, the healers, the guides who have chosen to incarnate during this pivotal time in human history to help raise the vibration of the planet. Our role is not to do everything ourselves, but to inspire, to lead by example, and to help others awaken to their own divine potential. I remember struggling with the enormity of this role, feeling the pressure of it all. The world is so broken, so divided. Could one person really make a difference? But over time, I learned that every action, no matter how small, ripples out into the world. Every moment of kindness, every word of encouragement, every gesture of compassion contributes to the collective shift. As chosen ones, we are not here to be perfect. We are here to be authentic. We are here to live our truth, even when the world may not understand it. When we show up with integrity, when we stay true to our higher purpose, we set an example for others to follow. We help them see that transformation is possible, that healing is real, and that love is the ultimate force of change. The role of the chosen ones is to uplift, to guide, and to be a beacon of light in the darkness. We help others find their way, not by doing the work for them, but by showing them that they have the power to heal themselves and transform their own lives. Our presence alone creates a shift, and when we come together, when we stand united in our mission, the collective impact is unimaginable. The chosen ones have a profound responsibility, but it is also a profound gift. We are the catalysts for the transformation the world needs. We are the ones who are called to break through the illusion of separation, to heal the wounds of the past, and to guide humanity toward a higher, more enlightened existence. Conclusion. As I reflect on my own journey, I realize that every challenge, every moment of suffering, every doubt and fear has been an integral part of my transformation. The path of the chosen ones is not easy, but it is necessary. Through pain, we learn empathy. Through duality, we learn balance. Through misunderstanding, we find our true purpose. And through awakening, we step into the role we were always meant to play. The world needs us now more than ever. It needs those who are willing to walk through the darkness and emerge with the light of wisdom, love, and compassion. It needs those who are willing to stand in their truth, even when the world doesn't understand. This journey is not just for you, it is for all of us. The more we heal, the more we awaken. The more we rise, the more the collective consciousness of humanity rises with us. And as we fulfill our mission, we are not just changing the world, we are transforming it. So if you ever feel lost or unsure of your place in this journey, remember this: you are exactly where you need to be. Trust the process. Keep walking and know that every step brings you closer to fulfilling your divine purpose. You are a chosen one, and the world is waiting for the light you carry.